One confrontation in Genoa City may have just exposed a truth that nobody is ready to face, because the man Noah Newman thought was gone forever suddenly appeared right in front of him. But was Matt Clark really confused and suffering from amnesia, or was this all part of something much darker? And if Matt truly remembers more than he is admitting, then why come back now? Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless delivered emotional confessions, rising suspicions, and one explosive encounter that left Nick Newman furious and ready for war. At the same time, Adam Newman may be walking straight into dangerous territory again as old temptations begin pulling him back toward the spider life he claims he wants to leave behind. And honestly, after watching everything unfold, there are several moments fans are already questioning. The episode opened with tension brewing at the Newman ranch as Chelsea Lawson tried to process the growing chaos surrounding Billy Abbott and the fake email evidence situation. Chelsea clearly still has concerns about Billy potentially taking the fall, but Adam wanted no part of that conversation. In Adam's mind, Billy's problems are Billy's problems, but Chelsea's lingering concern once again highlighted how complicated these emotional connections still are. Even when Chelsea tried to move away from the Billy topic, the mood between her and Adam never fully relaxed. Instead, the conversation shifted toward Riza Thomson and everything that happened in Vegas. And this is where things started getting very interesting. Because the second Riza's name entered the conversation, Adam's entire energy seemed to change. Viewers could immediately sense that Adam was hiding something. Chelsea sensed it too. When Riza suddenly called Adam and tried convincing him to work with her again, Adam quickly shut the idea down, at least on the surface. He insisted he was done with that world, done with Spider, done with the games, but the more Adam denied it, the harder it became to ignore the possibility that part of him misses the thrill. Chelsea eventually asked the question many viewers were already thinking: how far did Adam actually go while undercover as Spider? And Adam's answer felt carefully crafted. He insisted everything with Riza was strictly business, nothing personal, nothing romantic, but Chelsea clearly struggled to believe that explanation, especially after Riza heavily implied there may have been more history between them. Adam then tried to brush it off by claiming Riza enjoys mind games and manipulation. According to him, she was simply trying to get under Chelsea's skin. But was she? That is the real question hanging over this storyline now. Because many viewers are no longer fully trusting Adam's version of events. In fact, audience reactions after the episode showed that fans are becoming increasingly frustrated with Adam's pattern of behavior when it comes to women in his life. Some viewers pointed out that Adam has lied and gaslighted nearly every major woman he has been involved with, including Sharon, Chelsea, Sally, and now Riza. Others defended him by arguing that the kisses and flirtation with Riza were simply part of the undercover assignment and nothing more. And honestly, both sides may have a point. Adam clearly cares about Chelsea, but at the same time, he also has a long history of blurring emotional lines whenever he believes the situation justifies it. That uncertainty is exactly what makes Chelsea nervous. What made the scene even more revealing was Adam's confession later about feeling tempted by the Spider lifestyle again. The cards, the poker references, the adrenaline. Adam admitted part of him has been thinking about returning to that world. Now, interestingly, some fans pushed back against the idea that this automatically means Adam is spiraling. One audience comment specifically pointed out that Adam is not a gambling addict like Billy Abbott. Wanting to play poker occasionally does not necessarily mean he is losing control. And that is fair. But this story may not actually be about gambling at all. The bigger issue could be what Spider represents emotionally for Adam. Power, escape, reinvention, a version of himself that feels dangerous but free. And if Adam starts chasing that feeling again, Chelsea may soon realize that the man standing in front of her is slowly slipping away emotionally, even if he physically stays beside her. Meanwhile, another emotional storyline took center stage at the GCAC as Matt Clark spent time talking with Phyllis Summers. And surprisingly, these scenes carried a strange sense of calm before the storm. Matt listened carefully as Phyllis described life in Genoa City. On the surface, it almost looked harmless, but knowing Matt's past and the destruction connected to him, there was an eerie feeling underneath every moment of that conversation. Especially because Nick Newman was so close by without realizing Matt had already returned. Nick stepped away to take a phone call, completely unaware that Matt was wandering around Genoa City once again. Instead, Nick soon found himself in a deeply emotional conversation with Victoria Newman. And this may have been one of the strongest emotional scenes of the episode. Nick finally admitted the truth about his drug addiction. For weeks, viewers have watched Nick struggling emotionally, mentally, and physically, but hearing him openly confess everything to Victoria carried enormous emotional weight because it forced both siblings to confront painful reality. Nick felt ashamed, he hated disappointing his family, but Victoria's reaction was equally heartbreaking because she immediately blamed herself. She could not understand how she failed to notice what Nick was going through. She wondered whether she could have helped sooner if she had paid closer attention. This is something many longtime soap viewers connected with emotionally because addiction storylines often impact entire families, not just the individuals suffering directly. Victoria also voiced concern about relapse. Even though Nick insisted he planned to enter rehab and get things under control, fear still lingered in the room. And honestly, Victoria has every reason to worry. Recovery is never simple, especially not in Genoa City, where emotional pressure and family drama never stay quiet for long. At the same time, Nick's determination did feel genuine. He seemed exhausted, worn down, almost desperate for peace. But unfortunately for Nick, peace did not last very long. Because across town at the Park Cafe, everything exploded. Noah Newman crossed paths with Audra Charles and listened as she vented about her earlier conflict with Claire Newman. At first, the scene felt relatively normal compared to the heavier drama elsewhere in the episode. Then Matt appeared. The second Audra saw him, everything changed. She immediately recognized him as Mitch, which instantly created confusion and panic. And before Noah could fully process what was happening, Matt suddenly found himself face to face with someone who absolutely refused to believe his story. Noah's reaction was immediate and intense. He exploded with rage the moment he realized Matt was standing there alive in Genoa City. But what made the confrontation even more chaotic was Matt's apparent confusion. Matt insisted he did not remember Noah. He claimed he did not understand why people kept calling him different names. And this is where the audience reaction became especially divided. Some viewers believe Matt may genuinely be suffering from memory loss after everything that happened in Vegas. Others believe this is an elaborate performance designed to manipulate everyone around him. But Noah clearly was not buying any of it. He reminded Matt about the torment, the fear, and especially the gas station explosion in Vegas. Noah simply could not believe that a man connected to so much destruction would suddenly appear with no memory at all. The anger quickly turned physical as Noah grabbed Matt and demanded answers. Now, interestingly, audience reactions online heavily criticized this scene for a different reason altogether. Some fans found the confrontation unintentionally funny, especially when Matt knocked Noah down. Several viewers joked that Noah looked far too weak and unconvincing during the fight sequence. And honestly, some of the criticism is understandable. The scene was clearly intended to feel explosive and dangerous, but parts of the physical struggle may not have landed with the intensity producers hoped for. Still, from a story perspective, the emotional stakes mattered far more than the actual punch itself. Because the real focus was Noah's complete inability to trust Matt. Even after Matt insisted he remembered nothing, Noah refused to believe him for a second. And things escalated even further when Noah ordered Audra to call both Nick and the police. That moment created another major fan discussion online. One viewer sarcastically questioned why they were even calling the police at all. From that perspective, Matt had not technically committed a new crime during that moment. Instead, the commenter joked that Noah should have called Victor Newman because Victor would know exactly how to handle someone like Matt. And honestly, longtime Y&R fans probably smiled at that comment because it feels completely true to the Newman family dynamic. When things become dangerous, Victor usually takes matters into his own hands. But before anyone could fully react, Matt threw a punch at Noah and ran. Just like that, chaos erupted again. Noah quickly called Nick and revealed the shocking news that Matt was alive and back in Genoa City. And Nick's reaction said everything. The second he heard Matt's name, all the calm and emotional vulnerability Nick showed earlier disappeared instantly. Rage took over. Nick immediately informed Victoria that Matt was alive before storming off toward the park cafe. This moment may become extremely important moving forward because Nick is already emotionally fragile due to his addiction struggles. Now he suddenly has to deal with the return of a man tied to trauma, danger, and unresolved anger. That combination could become very dangerous emotionally. If Matt truly is manipulating everyone, Nick may push himself too far trying to protect his family. But if Matt actually has amnesia, then Genoa City may be preparing to punish someone who genuinely does not understand what happened. Either way, this story feels far from over. Meanwhile, another crisis continued building at Summers' conglomerate. Phyllis Summers vented her frustrations to Lauren Fenmore Baldwin as business pressure continued mounting. Lauren admitted morale inside the company is collapsing, and Victor Newman appears determined to sabotage important deals. And despite everything happening legally and financially, Phyllis made one thing very clear. She is not giving up. No matter how difficult things become, Phyllis refuses to walk away from the company she fought so hard to build, but Lauren's concerns painted a grim picture of what may be coming next. Because even if Phyllis survives the courtroom battle ahead, the damage to the business itself may already be spreading too far. And knowing Phyllis, desperation often leads to risky decisions. That may be exactly why spoilers hint she is about to make some very bold moves moving forward. The bigger question now is whether those choices will save her future or completely destroy it. Friday's episode balanced emotional confession, family tension, and mystery surprisingly well. The strongest material arguably came from Nick and Victoria's emotional scenes, while the Matt storyline continues creating debate among viewers about whether he is truly dangerous, mentally broken, or simply manipulating everyone again. And as for Adam, the deeper he gets pulled back towards Spider's world, the harder it becomes to believe his life with Chelsea will stay stable for long. Because in Genoa City, secrets rarely stay buried forever.